Does this sound like you? I'm a beginner and I don't know how to make any kind of money. And then you get responses like, just go bounty hunting. You should rock mine with the prospector. Make sure you get Lancet Head. Just do bounties, duh. Do bunker missions. That's the best way to do it. So, I decided to make a video for new players trying to make UEC in the verse pretty easy without having to worry about dying frequently. So you can get yourself that prospector so you can mine Quantanium like the bigwigs. Let's get it.
The first thing you're going to want to do when you're in the game is get to Crew L1. Crew L1 is the place where you're going to rent your Cutlass Black and the ROC. So make sure you go to Crew L1, which is just to the left of the star in the middle of the system, and which is just outside of Crusader. The reason why we're choosing Crew L1 is because we're going to be mining on Daymar, and you might as well get your ships, you know, very close to where you're going to be mining. Now, I chose to make this video during Invictus week, so things are pretty unstable. It's pretty choppy. Just expect, if you're going to be doing this during Invictus week or just a little bit after, to expect some issues. But once it actually is done, then you should be running pretty smoothly. If you already have the Cutlass Black, then that's fantastic. Or if you have another ship that can actually carry a ROC, like the Nomad or something bigger than the Cutlass Black, or even the Avenger Titan can carry the ROC, I would highly suggest that you don't even need to rent the Cutlass. You just use your starter ship or whatever ship that you already have in order to get the ROC. Rent the ROC out for 4,000. The Cutty is, I believe, 31,000. We're going to see that in a little bit here. When you get to Crew L1, you're going to go past the terminals. You're going to look for the medical clinic. The elevators are going to be right next to it. You're going to then go and call the elevator, and then you're going to go to the refinery. When you get to the refinery, you're going to take a left. You're going to look for the refinery sign above the door, and then you keep straight to go down the steps, and you're looking for the service area. When you get to the service area, you're going to take a right, and it's going to be the Mining Support Center. In the Mining Support Center, you can actually go to the terminals on your right. You can pick up armor so you can be protected, but we're not going to worry about that because you don't need it for Daymar. What you're looking for are the terminals on the left, the equipment rentals. Inside here, you can rent the Gray Cat for 4,297, so be sure to rent that, and as well as the Drake Cutlass Black for 34,000. Now, if you don't have that amount of money, I would suggest doing some satellite missions over at Microtech to get yourself to around that 40,000. If you were to join my organization and you need help, by all means, I'd be more than happy to help you out. You can. I'll leave the Discord and the organization invitation in the description below. We are always willing to help out new players and look forward to actually playing with new players, because we all know how that feels. So, when you rent the Cutlass Black and the ROC, the ROC is going to be at Daymar. That's where we're going to have to retrieve it. But so you're going to leave and go back to the elevator. And then you're going to retrieve your Cutlass Black. Go back to the hangars. And retrieve your Cutlass Black. Now, of course, if you've rented or if you have a ton of ships, you're going to have to find it. When you get to the correct pad, you can stop to look at your new ship, the Cutlass Black, or you can just flat out, if you've already seen it before, you can just get right in there through the ramp on the back. Spool your quantum drive and get to Crusader. When you get to Daymar, you're going to look for Shubin mining facility. It's usually on the northern end of the moon. When you make it to Shubin mining facility, land yourself down. You're going to get out of your ship. You're going to look for the landing services building, which is the blue building with a blue tower specifically on one of its corners for communications. You're going to walk up into the ramp. Then you're going to go to one of the terminals. When you get to one of the terminals, you're going to be looking for your rented Gray Cat rock. If it's not available to retrieve, which it shouldn't be, you're going to have to make a claim on it. Making a claim will literally be only 14 seconds. I don't suggest just paying the extra amount of money because it's just 14 seconds. Either way. You get into your rock vehicle the same way you get into your ships. You have to turn on the power. So get used to driving the rock around, and when you get used to it, then be sure to drive it onto your pad and get it into your Cutlass. You can either drive it in backwards or drive it in frontwards. With the Nomad, you have to drive the rock into it backwards. It will not allow you to get out of it. It will not allow you to get out of it if you drive it forward into the back of the Nomad. So be sure that you know that for those of you that might be flying the Nomad. For the Cutlass specifically, you want to make sure that you drive it forward enough. You want to pull it in far enough to where the front end, where it says Gray Cat Industrial, kind of lines up with the bottom two dashes of those electronic panels. That way you have enough room to get out of it front end, and you can also get into it, and as well as walk around it when trying to close your hatch. You always want to make sure you do this, because if you don't, then you won't be able to get around it. The only way to get around it would be to have to crawl underneath it, and sometimes there have been known issues where you aren't able to crawl underneath it. So what you're going to want to do from the Shubin mining facility once you have your rock is you're going to want to fly straight up, and then you're going to want to pick a single direction on your compass. And I usually choose north first, but then when I go back and I do multiple loads, I will choose, like, say, south next, or east or west. So what you're looking for is to maintain a single direction and keep going in that specific direction. That way you don't kind of turn yourself around every time you land to start mining. You're going to be scanning for gems. You're not looking for rocks. Gems specifically are going to show up less than 4,000 meters, but more than 1,000 meters from your ship when you hit the scan button, which is tab. Yeah, so we're going to start our timer to prove that in 1 hour we're going to make a certain dollar amount. So let's get the timer up, and let's get going north. In order to scan for gems, you press tab, and you're going to start seeing blocks come across your screen. When you scan, it's going to send out a 360 degree ping. So if you keep it in 360 degrees, you may find gems behind you. I like to keep it at 180 degrees. That way, everything I will see is in front of me. The way you change that is by pressing comma or period on your keyboard. Because if anything is less than 1,000 meters away when it first pops up, that means it's a gem. but it's a hand mineable gem, and it's not worth your time mining with the rock. So when you find one, you're going to fly over it. You're going to get within about 300, 400 meters. And then you're going to press V as in Victor on your keyboard. And then you're going to left click and hold to scan those gems. As you're scanning, you're going to start seeing an overview pop up on the left hand side. That overview is going to tell you the mass, the optimal heat index, the overcharge index, the power transfer resistance, and the instability. On the right hand side, if you continue to hold it, it will then tell you the type of gem that it is. However, you don't need to wait for it to tell you the gem by holding the scanner. You can know what it is by the instability. If the instability is 1.00 or less, it's aphrite. If it's higher than 1.00 but less than 2.00, so like let's say 1.89, 1.75, etc., for the instability, it is hadnite. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for hadnite and you're looking for aphrite. Hadnite's the better, more valuable gem, and aphrite is the second most valuable gem. You can find clusters of gems, 13 or 14 together. If it's more than 3 gems of aphrite, that's when it actually, to me, seems like it's worth it. If you're unlucky and all you're finding is clusters of 3 aphrite, just stop and just start picking all that stuff up. But you are going to want to find hadnite and aphrite. When you come across your first cluster of either hadnite or aphrite, you're going to want to land your ship nearby. You're going to get into the rock. Then you're going to go over to the gems. You press M to release your mining head. The mining laser has 2 modes, extraction mode and mining mode. Mining mode is the default, the first option. It's the yellow laser that actually breaks the rocks apart. When you right click, you go to extraction mode in order to suck up the gems when the gems have been broken apart from the rock. In order to break the rock, you have to heat the rock to the point of it basically breaking. When you start aiming at a rock, the mining head will start scanning that rock. It's going to give you information on what it is, the mass, etc. on the right hand side. What you're actually looking for is on the left hand side, and it's going to bring up a circular sensor, and on the left hand side of that sensor is your power of the laser, which can be increased or decreased by the mouse wheel. And on the right hand side you're going to see the charge. The charge is also going to start at the bottom on the right hand side. There's a little meter that'll start going up as you increase the laser power. You want to get your charge level within the optimal range and maintain the optimal range until that optimal range fills up without going into the overcharge range. If you go into the overcharge range, make sure that you stop holding left click and you click off. That way you shut down your laser right away, but then click it back to start it right back up once you actually get out of the overcharge range and are back in optimal, and mouse wheel and roll your mouse wheel very quickly. That way you know that you can get back to that range. It take a few tries to understand the balancing act. If you fill the overcharge meter, it is dangerous. The rock will explode and you could potentially die. So be aware. When you break the rock, you can right click to switch to extraction mode and basically just hover over all the gems while holding down the left mouse button, and you'll be able to pick up those gems. On the left hand side is the cargo space of your Gray Cat rock, and it holds 80 CSCU of cargo space. I, within an hour, usually can at least fill it halfway. In this video, you're going to see that I almost fill it all the way in just over an hour. So continue to do that for the next however long you want. I suggest doing it in hour increments due to the instability of the servers regularly. Somebody could come and kill you. You can 30k. You can have so many things go wrong, so you don't want to lose your progress because you were being greedy and didn't want to go back and sell your stuff. So I would suggest, if you're going to rock mine, be sure to set a time frame that you feel comfortable with, because many things can go wrong in the verse. This is an alpha, so I like to set mine for like with roughly hour increments, and then I go and I sell it, and then I go and I do in a different direction. So right click to suck up all the gems, and once you have all those gems sucked up, then you basically drive the rock back on the ship, and then rinse and repeat. And now I'm going to speed up the video so we can get through the rinsing and the repeating. So with 42 seconds left, I see a cluster of 7 Hadnite. There's no way I should just up and leave this, so I'm going to do this. Yeah, we're going to run out of time for the video, but technically speaking, I mean, am I dumb if I were to leave it? I think so. So I'm going to get this Hadnite, and then we're going to go back to the facility to get paid. Alright, so when you get back into your ship, you're going to take off, and if you went north, you're going to obviously look south, or you can fly a little over 2,000 meters up into the sky to be able to bring up your quantum drive and spool it to go back to Shubin mining facility to sell your product. When you get back to Shubin mining facility, you're going to get the rock, and you're going to pull the rock off of the ship, because sometimes it doesn't register the gray cat inside of your ships. So get it out onto the pad, and then what you're going to look for is the orange building with the tower on it, as there's probably a few orange buildings. But you're looking for the storage facility with the orange tower on its corner in order to sell your gems. You're going to get in there, and you're going to go to the terminal, and you're going to click sell, and then you're going to select your gray cat. So obviously Aphorite and Hadnite is what we selected, so I'm going to sell the Aphorite first. 354 units of Aphorite sells for 52,467 aUEC. So right there, just the Aphorite, we were able to make 52,000 credits. Now we're going to be able to sell the Hadnite, and there you go right there, the Hadnite itself. With 420 units of Hadnite, that sells for 111,652 aUEC. So right there, with just over an hour, we were able to make 164,119 alpha UEC. And that, my friends, is how you're able to make over 100,000 on average an hour rock mining. Is it the best way to make money? No. But for beginners, is it easy? It's pretty dang easy. It's pretty chill. This is a pretty decent way to make some money until you get to buy yourself a ship that can increase your potential for doing, say, bounties, or even buying a prospector to do Quantanium mining. I hope that you like this tutorial. I'll be making more content both on Twitch streaming and YouTube streaming, as well as YouTube videos for Star Citizen specifically. I hope that you guys like this video, and please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and feel free to follow me on Twitch/Nova Prototype. We're always recruiting new people to the Star Citizen organization known as Nova Industries, so if you're interested in that, feel free to let me know. I'll be more than happy to send you an invite, or you can send in an application. We're always looking over those as well. And I look forward to playing with you in the verse. Have a fantastic day, guys.